Want to make money in real estate without buying houses, taking out loans, or using your own cash? That's exactly what wholesaling lets you do. It's how many investors actually get their start. And in this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to become a successful real estate wholesaler, even if you're brand new. So first, let's level set everyone. And what is real estate wholesaling? Wholesaling is finding discounted properties, assigning the purchase contracts to another buyer for profit. You don't need to buy the property. You just got to secure the property under contract and pass it along to a real estate investor. Your profit is essentially the assignment fee, and I've seen assignment fees be a few $1,000s or up to like $25,000, $30,000. And essentially, you're the middleman who brings motivated sellers with cash buyers together. And why wholesaling is a great way to start. It requires no money, no credit, and no licenses in most states. You want to check actually your local states if you do need a license. And wholesaling essentially helps you learn the real estate game of negotiating property values and marketing trends. You build relationships with investors, agents, title companies, lenders, and it teaches you how to find off-market deals, which is a skill every investor needs. Now, step one, we're going to talk about learning the wholesaling process. First, you got to understand a few key terms and formulas. The most important is ARV, which stands for after repair value. And it's basically what the home is worth after renovations. And next thing you're going to need to know are repair and renovation cost estimates. How much is it going to take to fix up the property? We use a flat kind of square foot for interior rehab, and then we add an additional cost for like roof, heating, air conditioning, windows, landscape, etc. And then from there, you can calculate a quick filter formula such as what we call maximum allowable offer, aka MAO, which is just that after repair value times your 70% minus your renovations and minus the fee that you want to make. And that's kind of like the offer you should present to the home seller. Now, you want to find the motivated seller. you know so here's the whole wholesaling process, right? You're going to find a motivated seller, and usually what a wholesaler is a lead gen and marketing company, right? You're going to have to send out mailers, pay-per-click ads, text messages, phone calls. There's got to be a follow-up system, right? You just don't mail one postcard or letter to one person on a list. It's got to be a multi-step campaign. And once you get that deal flow, you're going to get motivated sellers calling. You get some under contract, and then you're going to have to find a cash buyer, usually 30 to 60 days. And once you find the buyer, you assign the contract, and at settlement, you're going to get paid your assignment fee. So that's the high level overview process. So let's just chop it down, that process now, into a few of the segments I just talked about. So we're going to talk about kind of step two, finding these motivated sellers. Once we understand our key terms and how the process works, right? The first is motivated sellers here. So look for homeowners who need to sell fast or have some kind of motivation, right? Those are going to be people facing foreclosure, so they're behind on mortgage payments, and folks that are going through probate or inherited a property. The grandparents passed away, and the children don't want the house. It's dated. It looks like it's 30 years. It was last updated in 30 years. That's an ideal add value and opportunity for a rehabber. Someone got divorced, job relocation, a tired landlord, or just houses just their need of repairs are ideal candidates for motivated sellers. Now, the way to find these people, it varies. Do you want to spend more time, or do you have the money to create marketing campaigns? And I'll give you a few ideas on how to find these motivated sellers. Some people, if you don't have any money, you could drive for dollars, kind of walk around or drive around town. Are there any vacant or distressed homes? You could then look up those properties in your county courthouse to see who owns them and contact them. There's lists that you could buy that I mentioned above where you could get their information, such as cold calling and texting the owners. There's direct mail campaigns that work. You could send postcards or letters to folks several times. And then there's online tools that you can find folks, such as Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Zillow for sale by owners are some examples. And then you want to start local, right? Understand your local market. That way you know all the values, the trends, and you could basically know what someone buys for a house in a certain property in like 2 seconds once you do it and see it enough. Next is step three. We want to build a cash buyers list, right? You know how to find a deal flow. How do you find the buyers now? You're the matchmaker as a wholesaler. First, so if you want to find investors who are actively buying properties for cash, you could attend local RIA meetings. So that's Real Estate Investor Association meetings. You usually could go to your first meeting for free, see if it's any good, and then sign up for it. You could join Facebook investor groups out there in your area. You could look at recent cash sales and public records and contact those cash buyers. You can network with contractors, title companies, flippers. I've even gone to foreclosure auctions at the courthouse steps. with finding who the people are bidding. Those are usually your cash buyers looking to buy a property. So that's another great way to find people. And you want to ask once you meet these people, what kind of opportunities are they looking for and what's their buying criteria? So you kind of know where your numbers need to be in certain areas. Next is step four. You want to get the property under contract. So we go back to the overall business process, finding motivated sellers. You got a buyer's list. Now these deals came in, and you got to negotiate with the sellers to get that property under contract. So first thing you want to do is make sure you have a good purchase agreement that includes an assignment clause. Talk to like a local attorney or other real estate wholesalers and see if that you can get a copy of theirs. And then you want to make sure you know the numbers, what makes sense for your cash buyers. And that's, a quick formula is an after repair value times 70% minus renovations minus your fee. And usually to make the contract valid, the purchase agreement, you're going to have to use some kind of small owner's deposit down, at least like $100. And then you want to make sure there's a contingency clause in there that, maybe lets you cancel it if you can't find a buyer. But that's the one side of wholesaling I don't like. Like I will just be upfront with the seller on what you're trying to do and tell them for this number to work, I got to be here and I know my buyers will buy it essentially. So be upfront with people on what you're trying to do as a wholesaler. That's the best, in my opinion, with years of experience dealing with wholesalers and being on the opposite end as one. Next is step five, assigning the contract. So once you find a buyer, you got it under contract already with the seller. You got it. Once you find the buyer, now you got to sign that contract to them, and that's basically called an assignment form or assignment of contract to transfer your rights as buyer to now like an assignee. And if you got the property under contract for $100,000 and the buyer agrees to buy it for 110, you basically make the spread. So you make a $10,000 assignment fee, and that you take that to the title company. The title company handles the closing, and you're going to get paid your assignment fee at settlement when the deal closes. Now, step six is know the legal side, right? Wholesaling is legal in most states, but the laws kind of vary. So, depending on what market you're in, you should do a little research, talk to other experienced investors as well at those real estate meetup groups that you meet to understand the ins and outs of every area. Some states, for example, require a license if you market the properties instead of the contract. So always, right, market the contract, not the house. Work with a real estate attorney or title company if you're not familiar with wholesaling, and just be honest and transparent with sellers and buyers. And step seven, build your wholesaling system, right? It's hard to get the first deal, but once you get your first deal, like reinvest some of that money in your business, right? You got to learn how to track leads and deals, and there's different tools out there to do that. You almost need a CRM system, and you're going to need DocuSign to sign digital contracts, electronic signatures, and then there's once you buy marketing lists, where do you want to buy marketing lists from? Who's going to do your mailings? Do you need a Google AdWords account to do pay-per-click ads and anything else that you decide to do from a marketing perspective? And then same thing for if you have automatic tasks, do they automatically send text blasts out to people and follow-ups and track those leads as you scale? So those are things to be aware of if you want to build into a true business. Now, how much can you make is a question people ask, and average assignment fees probably 5 to 15K per deal, probably for most people. So one deal for a month could help out a lot from a cash flow perspective. Knowing though there's going to be acquisition costs and finding those deals that you're going to have to reinvest in. So really in wholesaling, a key there is consistency, right? In persistency to get at least a few deals a month, and you have to have a little bit of a marketing machine and systems in place and be organized. So wholesaling, if you kind of think about like what's a good mindset for wholesaling, it's about problem solving and not just selling. You got to be persistent. You might have to talk to 100 sellers before one even says yes to you in the beginning. And you got to focus on relationships, not the deals, and knowing what your buyers want versus what your sellers want. And you got to keep learning. You got to constantly learn about new marketing techniques and tricks and negotiating skills and understanding the values as real estate values change through market cycles. So if you don't need money to start in wholesaling, but you do need knowledge, understanding your real estate market numbers, you got to take action. You got to be consistent. Wholesaling has been a gateway to kind of financial freedom for a lot of people in real estate, and it's a good first step for some people to get started as well. So if you're ready to start wholesaling, you got a lot of value to this videos, like hit the like button. If you got any additional questions or video topics that you want to see and learn, put them in the comments below. Happy to make more videos on.